In this video, we're continuing our replay of Axis Empires. We're now in the winter of 1938-1939 season, and we're starting on the European map, and it's November and December of 1938. So the Axis reveals a new strategy. It is continuing rearmament. And there's a historical note on that strategy card. Basically, it's a quote from Goebbels. The Fuhrer did not bring about the miracles of 1938 by waiting for them. He gathered and organized the strength of the nation and used it courageously. End of quote. So with this rearmament card, the Germans begin with plans to build the 4th Army, along with the 19th and 21st Army, and the East Army, and the 1st Luftwaffe Air Force. And all of these units are put in the delay box, but one infantry and one Panzer Corps are deployed to the map during the replacement segment. I don't have a picture for that. The Western Allies reveal the strategy Chamberlain diplomacy. So the Western Allies try Chamberlain diplomacy again. So they have a table on the card, which they roll on, a political table. It takes them to the guarantee table. So they have to roll on that. That takes them to the conference table. And then when I roll on the conference table, I ended up with no result. But the British Army was able to add another infantry unit to the map. So it is deployed in Great Britain. Then the Soviet Union reveals their next strategy. It is pre-war production. And there is a historical quote on this card from Joseph Stalin. And he said, we are 50 or 100 years behind the advanced countries. We must make good use of this distance in 10 years. Either we do it or they will crush us. So that seems like a very realistic comment to me from Stalin. And as per the card, the Soviet Union continues to rearm, and it allows me to place 3 infantry corps directly on the map in the Soviet Union. So that brings an end to the November-December 1938 turn on the European map. Let's go over to the Daisenso map. The Japanese reveal another strategy for this season, continuing mobilization. So Japan mobilizes the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th armies. These go to the delay box, as well as some more replacements. And then I am able to build a convoy marker, which is going to be useful. The weather conditions on the Daisenso map are snow, and but despite this, I decided to have the Japanese North Headquarters launch another attack on the Communist Chinese at Taiyuan, and the result in this attack is an exchange. Both sides suffer combat losses. However, the Japanese gain 2 more replacement steps as well as a colonial step from this mobilization card. The Western Allies decide to focus again on Chinese war production. So China is able to rally some of its troops, but overall the Allies are idle at this point in time at the end of 1938. The Soviet player works again with the Chinese insurgency card. This is a recyclable card that puts into effect some insurgency to slow the Japanese player down with this partisan activity. So I have a political events table on the card, which I roll on, and I get the struggle continues, so it's basically no effect. That brings November and December of 1938 to a close. The season of winter will continue in January and February of 1939, and for that we're going to go back to the European map. So the Axis player is still using the continuing rearmament card, so he's able to reorganize some of his forces on the east, but you can see that depicted in the picture here. But outside of that, things are relatively quiet. The Western Allies are using the Chamberlain diplomacy card, so Chamberlain is trying to make diplomatic moves. I'm rolling dice on the political table, but the result is conflicting plans again. That's a no results. It's just basically wasting time. And finally, the Soviet Union does nothing. They are using a rearmament card, and so they're just building units within the Soviet Union. And that brings the January-February of 1939 to a close on the European map. Let's go over to the Daisenso map. We still have snow on the Pacific map here, but the Japanese leaders don't care. They want to conquer Hopa. And so you can see in the picture in Taiyuan, there's still some Chinese Communist forces holding that last city in Hopa. And the Communist Chinese are becoming weaker due to the attrition. They're losing the battle of attrition with the Japanese. So I had the Japanese sail some more troops from the mainland and land them at Nanking. And then I launched this attack with the 2nd Army here and the 13th Army against the Chinese in Taiyuan. And this time, the defense is overwhelmed. That is what's left of the 8th War Zone. It capitulates. The Japanese troops rush into Taiyuan, and Hopa falls to the Japanese army. The Allies are still under the Chinese war production card, and they're not really doing much, but they do hear news, obviously, of the fall of Hopa. The communists continue to play the political card that they have on Chinese insurgency. This time the die roll leads to colonialism, so they go to the colonialism table and it results in a Chinese incident. So the Japanese headquarters in Piping ends up losing a step, and that's the North headquarters. It also loses its headquarters status. So it goes down to a one-step unit. So that was a fairly good result for the Chinese insurgency card. Anyway, that brings the January-February 1939 turn and the winter season to a close. So I thank you for watching, and stay tuned if you will like to see what happens in the spring of 1939. Have a great day.